You know, deep in the American heartland, a single government policy is, well, it's turning neighbor against neighbor. Today, we're going to dig into how one trade war is literally cleaving an entire industry in two, creating this stark divide between folks who are actually thriving and those who are facing total ruin.
So here's the big question, the paradox at the heart of all this. For some American farmers, this policy is a financial nightmare, a total gut punch. But for others, it's the protective shield they've been waiting on for decades. How can that even be possible?
Okay, so let's meet the two sides of this story. On one side, you've got the soybean farmer, who is watching their entire livelihood just vanish. And on the other, the shrimp farmer, who sees this exact same policy as a lifeline. It's the same policy, but for them, it's creating two completely different worlds.
All right, to really get this, we've got to start with the soybean crisis. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some market downturn. For so many farmers, it's a catastrophic fall from being a true titan of global trade.
So picture this. Before the trade war, soybeans were the single largest agricultural export for America. And China? They were buying about half of the entire U.S. crop. The value of just those exports to China alone? A massive $12 billion. I mean, this was the bedrock of profitability for countless farms.
And then, bam, the gut punch. In response to U.S. tariffs, Beijing hit back, and they did it with surgical precision. They slapped a 23% tariff on U.S. soybeans, which instantly wiped out their price advantage on the world stage.
And the fallout? Oh, it was swift and it was brutal. I want you to really get this. That $12 billion market, it didn't just get smaller, it vanished, evaporated. Today, that once mighty river of soybeans flowing to China has been reduced to basically zero. It's like a massive economic engine just sputtered and died.
So this chart right here really shows you the kind of whiplash farmers are dealing with. Prices just plummeted from over $12 a bushel to under $10. And that price, that $9.79, for many farmers, that's less than it cost them to grow it. Think about that. They are literally paying to do their own job.
So you can see how farmers are just trapped in this economic vice, right? Their own costs for things like fertilizer and tractors are going up, partly because of tariffs on steel, while at the same time, this huge surplus of unsold soybeans is crushing the prices they can get at home. I mean, it's a completely impossible situation.
And all of this pressure, it's not just numbers on a page. It has a real, devastating human cost. In 2024, farm bankruptcies shot up by a staggering 55%. That dream of passing the family farm down, for so many it's turning into a nightmare of foreclosure signs.
But, you know, out of all this desperation, a really clear, unified message has emerged. Farmers aren't asking for a government handout. These are proud people. They want one thing: access to the markets they spent their entire lives building. They want trade, not aid.
Okay, so now, let's just completely flip the script. While those soybean fields are in crisis, over at an indoor shrimp farm in Indiana, these very same tariffs are being celebrated. They're seen as a lifeline.
And this chart, this gets to the heart of their long struggle. Look, we all know Americans love shrimp, right? It's our #1 seafood. But get this, a whopping 90% of the shrimp we eat is imported. That just floods the market and makes it nearly impossible for our domestic farmers to compete on price.
And this, right here, this is the core paradox of the whole story. For the soybean farmer, a tariff is a brick wall, blocking them from their biggest customer. For the shrimp farmer, it's a shield protecting them from a flood of foreign competition. It's the exact same tool, but whether it helps you or hurts you, well, that depends entirely on which side of the farm fence you're on. And for the shrimp farmers, let's be clear, this 15% tariff isn't about wiping out all competition. No, it's about survival. It's about raising the price of those cheap imports just enough to give their fresh, high-quality American-grown product a real fighting chance on a level playing field. But you know, this story gets even bigger. This isn't just about what's happening on American farms. What these farmers are living through is a permanent structural shift in global trade. The rest of the world isn't just sitting around waiting for the U.S. to sort this out. They've already moved on. So while the U.S. has been on the sidelines, its competitors, they moved in. And they moved in fast. Brazil has now leapfrogged America to become the world's top soybean exporter. But the biggest move? It's coming from China itself. They're basically re-engineering their whole system to rely less on anyone from the outside. And the result of all this is that America's reputation, that hard-won reputation as the world's most reliable supplier, it's been shattered.
So this has created a fundamental shift in America's place in the global market. The U.S. isn't the go-to supplier anymore. It's become the residual supplier. That's the one you call only when your first, second, and third choices can't deliver. It's the backup plan. I mean, what a catastrophic fall from grace.
And of course, this massive global shift has devastating ripple effects right back here at home, threatening the future of rural America. Because this was never just about farms. It's about the fate of entire communities.
You know, there's this axiom in rural economics that for every single dollar a farm makes, another $8 gets pumped through the local town. That money is what funds schools, paves roads, and keeps every small business on Main Street alive. So when that farm income just collapses, the entire town is at risk.
And really, this is what it all comes down to. This quote from a farmer, it just perfectly captures the deep, profound uncertainty hanging over the heartland right now. This isn't just about profit and loss anymore. For so many, it's a gamble for their very existence. It's a high-stakes game where losing means losing absolutely everything.